Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, we're at Fort Clinch, so you saw the drive-in, and we're gonna go check out the fort and walk around. So I'm gonna show you the front area here. So they got water fountains, and then they have a visitor center and restrooms and stuff here. So we're gonna go in, pay to go in the park, and then the fort's back there. So it looks like in the visitor center here they have a grill that they have probably on the weekends when it's a little bit busier. They've got different ice creams and ice and drinks, but they've got some snacks you can buy. Check out that fan. They have a penny press machine, firewood if you're camping. Oh, look at all these pretty pictures. Got a little gift shop in here. So you got die cast boats. It's pretty cool. Big boy cannons. So, mortar. Here's a cannon. They have postcards. Coffee mugs with cannons on them. That's cool. RV salt pepper shakers. That's kind of cool. Very cool. So that looks like a big old kayak up there. It's called the Sea Turtles Wooden Sea Kayak. So the building across the way, when I was first doing it, this is a museum. So we're gonna head in there and then we'll take a tour out to the fort. So they do a Civil War fort garrison the first weekend of every month with a Saturday night candlelight viewing. It's pretty cool. A little fireplace right here. Horseshoes. There's a pickaxe. There's bolts in here.
There's 3 large bolts, 9 copper nails, an iron link, 4 brass spikes, brass rings, 2 iron nuts, grinder handle, built-in hook, small bolts, file, staple, reinforcing rod, part of single tree, part of horse bit, 3 horseshoes, small hand rope, spikes, right angle brace, bullet mold, and a large hand rope spikes. Number 37.
So it says Fort Clinch was occupied by the U.S. Coast Guard during World War II. So Coast Guard riding home to family. This is a Civil War style Gatling gun. Go. Imagine you're stepping into the past. The year is 1861. The Civil War has just begun. Confederate forces have seized control of the newly abandoned fort and are now making preparations to defend it. Ask them questions about the lives they led. Stationed at Fort Clinch, follow the path into 1861.
That's a huge thing. Makes me feel weird.
This is just the outside of the fort. It's a big old ship on the other side. It's one of the bunkhouses, and like a checker chessboard. All the little kerosene fuel lamps. There's some there, a little writing desk, ballot box, fireplace to keep the place warm, bunk beds.
How did they get up there?
They had to hop up there.
Hop?
Yep, got a hook to hang their hat and their coat. But basically they'd put their foot on the bottom shelf and hoist themselves onto the top.
That must have been hard.
There's a lot of hard stuff you had to do back in that day. There's where their guns would get racked.
What?
They'd eat dinner here. If it was cold, they had to use the fireplace. If it was hot,
Oh, these chairs are nice.
yeah.
They make good artwork.
Oh, you mean carpentry?
Oh, there's a list over here.
4 regulations for Fort Clinch. Revel was at 6:30.
Look, and it has stuff in it.
It's a ballot box. Breakfast was at 7. Guard mounting was at 8. Fatigues and AM drill was from 9 to 11. Dinner call was at 12. That's lunch for you people who don't know what dinner is. Fatigue and PM drills were from 1 to 3. Evening parade was at 5:30. Supper's at 6. Tattoos at 10.
What's tattoo?
Taps at 11. I assume it means tattoos. Like, I don't know. I assume it means get a tattoo. Like, you could get one. They had somebody on staff that could do it.
That's interesting. Okay.
And then they had a little post here for putting up signs and stuff. Can you imagine these days having a staircase with no handrail? People would freak out. In fact, that's probably why they have that blocked off so people don't fall off the edge. So we're gonna walk up the embankment here, and then we'll come back down and take a look at the rest of these rooms.
Easiest way to supply back.
Fort Clinch was unoccupied from the 1898 to 1926 when it was offered to the public for sale by the federal government. After passing from owner to owner, the fort was purchased by the state of Florida in 1935. During the next 2 years, the Civilian Conservation Corps worked at the fort removing sand and refuse and making repairs and improvements. In 1938, Fort Clinch State Park was opened to the public. During World War II, saw its last military occupation when the Coast Guard, in joint effort with the Army and Navy, maintained a surveillance and communications system within the fort and on the various coastal islands in the area. Part of this operation included the Coast Guard's mounted beach patrol. Guardsmen reported their observation by field telephone, which they plugged into jacks installed along the beach for that purpose. So most likely there's a building here, and that's the smokestack, the chimney, to let out the fire from the fireplace there. So let's take a walk around. See these. I'm gonna give you guys a funny little story. I was chaperoning my little sister in high school, and I was like 20 at the time, 19 maybe, and she needed a chaperone so that she'd go on the field trip with her school class to come to the fort. So I was like, okay, no big deal. So I volunteered, come out here. I've got 3 little 13, 12-year-old girls in my chaperone group, and I had them walking side by side, hand in hand, across the ramparts here, and one of them was ducking under each one of these, and she cracked her face on one of these little beams right here at the end and split her forehead wide open. Yeah, I never chaperoned after that again, because I don't need that kind of trauma in my life. These big old bad boys. Probably goes right down to the next ground below. So these here are for adjusting degrees. So if you were like 10 degrees to the west, they would come over 10 degrees, or 10 degrees to the east. Actually, I think that's west, this is east, but, and they would, you know, you'd have like probably 3 or 4 guys pushing these big bad boys, each little degree that they needed it to go to hit. So for instance, like this ship out there, if we were trying to shoot at that ship, right now she's sitting at about 30 degrees. The cannon's pointing about 30 degrees to the east, so we want to take her probably about 30 degrees to the west. So you'd have to push her all the way back over until she lined up right about there. And that would angle your barrel out towards that ship. That's how you defended them. And they fired these bad boys. I can only imagine the sound that comes off of these things.
Louder than a BB gun shooting or any kind of.
It would be louder than bombs going off. Because that's basically what these bad boys are. Bombs just hurling metal out.
And I bet this will be.
So you can see there was a cannon here, there was a cannon there, and there was probably a bigger gun right there. But so this here, when the fort was first built, this is basically dirt, cement, and seashells. There's a special name for it. I'll have to see if I can find it, but that's what most of the walls were made out of originally, until they added those brick barrier around it. But these right here they're real big use in St. Augustine and stuff, building houses. But yeah, so tidal erosion was really bad for areas like this. Man, look at that view. Imagine in 1861 with war on the horizon. It's probably hard to enjoy this view because all you're doing is looking for the next big ship to try and come take your homeland. Crazy. You're a weird kid. Anyway, so that's the Florida flag when it succeeded. It's crazy. If you here's 1861. You're a new private in the military. Civil War's on the horizon. This is your sight for most of your day. And then you get to turn back around. Probably see a field full of other privates who are young, new, scared out of their mind that war's coming. And hell's coming with it.
We have to go back the way we came in.
I think there's a ramp over there.
Right?
I think there's a ramp over there.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we came.
Now they have a barricade. Did we climb up through the thing?
Just check out the framing for this thing, the housing that's holding this behemoth in place. Something else, if you see the wheels, let's see if I can get a better shot, they have holes in them. And if you look next to all the degree marks, there's a peg. And those holes rolled in so they could lock it in place. Those pegs would be popped up to add extra reinforcement to hold these in place when they fired. Now it's just people fishing on the beach. Exploring what are basically the ruins of a past time long gone. It still holds memories though. You can feel them. You can feel that 18-year-old being scared the first time that gun goes off. The first time those cannons are fired. The first dawning and realization that it's not childhood playtime anymore. Places like this hold those memories. They keep them swelled inside. Okay, so I have to end this here. I didn't realize that I had well over an hour footage from Fort Clinch when we went. But I'm a huge history buff. I hope this kind of conveys it, and I hope in the next part or 2 parts, again, I don't know how many parts this Fort Clinch video is going to be, because I've got so much footage and I've got this story I want to tell, and I'm kind of hoping each piece tells it or shows you a little bit of the history that is Fort Clinch. But in the last little clip, I talk about how places like that have memories. They hold those memories. They're swelled inside the walls and the grounds that are built there. You know, and there's thousands of ghost stories to go around with all the forts and things that have been built and where they've been built and things like that. But for me, it's not just the ghost stories. Like, you can feel the energy of that place. You can feel the fear from the scared soldiers, or the joy when they won a battle, or the joy when they got letters from home. Places like Fort Clinch hold those memories, and when you're in them, you feel those memories, you feel the feelings that they had, and stuff like that. It's really important to me when it comes to places like that of historical value. So I really hope that this first part of the Fort Clinch video really conveys that. I took the kids with me when I went because they were on spring break, and so it is hard to do a more serious video with them because they're playing and enjoying it, and for them it's not quite a monumental experience, you know, because they're still young and they don't quite get it. So let's just say that this video and the rest of the Fort Clinch videos, they're not necessarily showcase anything special. They're more or less a memorial to the soldiers of past, the soldiers of present, and the soldiers who haven't even signed up yet. And it doesn't matter on what side of the campaign you're on what side of the war you're on. These people gave their lives so that this country could be free, and that means something to me, and remembering them for that. And I hope, you know, even with the kids playing, that this video does that justice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you did. The next part should be out shortly, probably tomorrow, if I can get it finished the way I want it. I'm very picky about this. So let me know if you enjoyed this one. There's some other historical sites. You've got St. Augustine stuff that I'd love to go and do more for, if you guys are interested in seeing those. But let me know in the comments. Tweet me. Let me know how you like this video. Don't forget to share it. If you know any history buffs, any family and friends that enjoy history, whether they're from Florida, they're not from Florida, share this video with them so that they can kind of experience what hopefully I was able to convey that I experienced in this video. So, love you guys. Till tomorrow.